Hi, I'm Zsuzsanna Pató, and I would like to share my thinking on one of the key barriers to the decarbonization of our power system, not having enough grids. You might have seen these charts before. This is the map of the Netherlands. No new renewable generators can connect to the grid in the red areas. This other graph shows projects queuing for connection in the US, the majority of them being solar, battery, and solar plus battery hybrids. The blue line shows the existing capacity online today. So the queue is roughly the double. As I have said, my name is Zsuzsanna Pató. I am a senior consultant at the Regulatory Assistance Project. And I will guide you through the various ways we can tackle grid scarcity, from quick fixes to more fundamental changes. This short video is based on our toolkit that includes more options and, most importantly, examples of how various countries employ them. So if you are interested in the details, have a look. So the big question is, how can you enhance grid capacity? Let's assume that this is the existing capacity you have and this is the needed one. Some of the existing has been already allocated to users. So the first question is, how to allocate where the remaining capacities. If you use existing grids better, you can virtually extend the capacities of the existing assets. So the second one is how to do that. Last but not least, you have to build new grids. So the question is how to do it efficiently. So let's see the first question. A no-brainer is to show where and how much capacity is available today, like this map of Belgium. If you want to build a new wind park or a data center, you cannot plan the investment without this information. Such hosting capacity maps are now mandatory for all DSOs and TSOs in Europe. Sometimes more capacity has been contracted in the past when grids were more abundant than actually is used. Use it or lose it means freeing up and reallocating these capacities to those who want to connect. Our connection management regime has been based on the first come, first served principle. But increasing scarcity triggers hoarding, filing multiple applications at different locations for the same project. We can get rid of ghost projects by conditioning application or the right to remain in the queue on the advancement level of the project. This is the so-called triage of applications or giving priority to shovel-ready projects. Some countries give priority to certain applications based on social preferences, for example, to hospitals or housing. Clustering applications speeds up the study process on the feasibility of the request connection. Auctioning, whatever is scarce, makes sure that those who value it the most will get it, and also provides assurance that it will be used quickly. An additional plus that auction revenues help to finance new grid. Let's see the second question. Collocation of various resources behind the same connection point provides benefit not only to them, but the power system as well. You can use the connection capacity better if resources with complementary profiles share it. Not surprisingly, solar and storage hybrids dominate the queue in the US today. Many in the queue would rather connect a year earlier, even if it gets curtailed for some periods when the grid is congested. Non-firm capacity contracts can bring forward the integration of new loads and renewables. Network companies usually have biased incentives to build, but there are some options that are cheaper and quicker to implement. Regulators should incentivize to implement grid-enhancing technologies. Dynamic line rating, for example, that can be imagined as real-time adjusted speed limits. The carrying capacity of the grid is also weather-dependent. The more precise you are, the more capacity you can use without jeopardizing reliability. These so-called smart grid technologies are commercially available and could be used more extensively. Another alternative to new grid builds is managing congestion. Some DSOs already actively procure flexibility from their grid users, increasingly not only from utility-scale resources, but using the flexibility potential of households as well. Last but not least, network companies should provide price signals to users to move their grid use from congested to less congested times via appropriate tariffs. Even if we use existing grids better, we still have to build new grids. One of the difficulties is how to coordinate new grid users, generation and load, and grid development. Grid companies plan their network on assumed prospective load and generation with regards to location, type, and capacity. Users changing their mind about their planned investments creates problems for network companies, as grids take much longer to build. The coordination of renewable zones and transmission grid development, as this map shows of Western and South Australia, and potential buy-ins from applicants can reduce the risk of stranded assets. Opening up the building monopoly of TSOs and DSOs can reduce the cost and the lead time of new grids. The competitive renewable economic zone project in Texas is a good example for both coordination and contestable builds. Renewable zones and alternative transmission lines were designated, then opened up for competition to build them. The project integrated a good amount of wind and solar to the ERCOT grid successfully and quickly. Last but not least, it is fair, so good, to share the benefits of new grids with local communities hosting them. I hope you found all this useful for the discussions you are having in your country. Get in touch if you have questions, suggestions, or further examples to share. And have a very happy New Year.